and welcome back to Creating a Life that Nourishes Body and Soul. So happy that you're here with us today. And our guest today is Barbara Zinda. Barbara is a certified life coach who focuses on helping empty nesters struggling with feelings of loss, stress, and isolation to gain hope, meaning, and purpose while navigating this new stage of life. She became an empty nester herself in 2020 during the pandemic. She decided to leave a successful career in finance to go back to school to study psychology and become an entrepreneur. She is a proud mother of 2 adult boys, 1 daughter in love, and a grandbaby on the way. That's exciting. Barbara's goal is to spread agape love while empowering women to be fully seen, deeply loved, and thriving. So this is Barbara. So thanks so much, Barbara, for being with us. And tell us a little bit about your story. What led you to the coaching that you do, and what's your story that we need to know?
Oh, thank you. And thank you so much for having me. I love, love, love this series. And I think anytime we can, lift each other up and find ways to, you know, just talk about love, talk about God, talk about being the best version of ourselves, that we're doing good things. So thanks for having me. And yeah, I decided to become a life coach. It was actually a dream of mine for decades. And when I was a single mom raising my boys, it just kind of was this little dream in the back of my mind. And it came to fruition last year. And it's funny how God works, because everything just kind of pushed me towards it. And one thing that I'll share is my dad passed away last year, and that had obviously a big impact on me, right? Like, he was such one of my favorite humans in the entire world. And um, yeah, he taught psychology, and I used to type up his notes. And so I started to fall in love with psychology and people and why we do the things we do. And I had a conversation with him about how I'm going back to school to work on my PhD in psychology, and I'm getting really good grades, which is kind of still blowing my mind. Like, I'm a great learner. I love learning. And so I have straight A's. And I was talking to my dad, and I said, I have straight A's and I'm studying psychology, Dad. Aren't you proud of me? Like, I wanted that attagirl. And he actually kind of burst my bubble a little bit, but it actually ended up really good. Here's what I mean. When I told him, instead of saying, great job, I'm so proud of you, he said, I don't know that you need to go to school. I think your, 30-year career at the bank speaks for itself. At first I was mad. I was like, come on, Dad. Like, I just want a little, yeah, like, just give me a little something here. But it kind of opened it up for me to say, you know what? I don't have anything left to prove at the bank. I don't have to climb the ladder anymore. I've reached whatever I needed to reach at the bank. It's time for me to help people. And that's why I moved into life coaching, and specifically empty nesters, because that was a tough time in my life. And I've had a lot of fun helping women break through, and men too, break through some of the darkness and isolation and sadness that can come with becoming an empty nester.
As we can see, behind Barbara is the name of her coaching, Better Together, which I love that. But also, you focus on empty nesters, but there are a lot of these principles that apply to really kind of any life-altering change. When we're just kind of in unfamiliar waters, this principle of connection and being better together can really have an impact there too. So what would you love most of all for listeners to take away from our time today?
Yeah, I would say I've had so many great conversations with faith-based coaches recently, and just being part of a community of people that love to talk about health, right? And connection. And I had a really hard time in the pandemic, because I went from a busy, crowded household to a very quiet one, and we all were isolating, and we had no choice but to isolate for a while. And I think as a country, as a world, as a nation, all of it, all of the above, we haven't fully come out of the isolation yet. There's a lot of people. I just talked to one yesterday, one of my clients. She's been in a deep depression since 2020. It's 2025. Like, we need to break out of it. And the best way to break out of that desperate, like, depression, which you just kind of get I call depression an inward focused anger. You're mad, but you're mad internally, and it's a pity party, and poor me, and pretty soon you're just bitter and you don't want to leave the house. And so you don't make connections, and you don't shine your light of love to the world. They need you. Like, we all need you. Get out of your house and connect with people. And one huge breakthrough I had with a client this week. And this, if you take one thing away, this is it. You can create your own circle of friends, of people, of confidants. Like, iron sharpens iron. And if you need people, if you need women, if you need uplifting, they're out there. You just have to go out there and find them and pour into them and be the one that asks, like, what are you doing? Let's go for a walk with the dog, or just invite people and say yes. You never grow if you always say no, is a favorite saying I heard recently. So get out there and connect.
Yeah, and that just reminds me, brings to mind a woman who I met recently. Well, anyway, she's 90, almost 90 years old, and her husband unexpectedly passed away. Do you think at 90, but he was very vibrant and everything, and then he died very suddenly, months ago. And so she's really struggling with that loneliness. And in talking with her, it was like, how before she had her husband, so she, didn't need to reach out a lot for companionship. And she was looking to hire somebody to be a companion to her, but it was like, have you thought about how you feel about maybe connecting with the senior center? And she's a woman who I help my son at his auto shop a couple of days a week, and one of the other women who works there, I was thinking, I saw this elderly woman with the appointment on the schedule for the day that I was working. I thought, oh, good, I'm going to talk to her about the senior center and see if maybe she wants to connect that way and reach out that way. And lo and behold, I get there, and one of the other women who works front desk, she had printed out a bunch of information about the senior center, like what their schedule is, and what the cost of things is, and the trips they had planned, blah, blah, blah. And so there's a whole packet. And so to hand this to this woman when she came in for her appointment, it was just a beautiful thing to see how much the more that she flipped through the pages, the more lightened up. I could literally see her from the mood that she was in when I first handed it to her, and then said, oh yeah, we printed this out for you. And then as she sat there while she waited for her car to be worked on, and flipping through the pages, I could see her lightening up at the idea of connecting. And so it's just such a powerful thing, not just during emptiness, but anytime when we're feeling like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, as a coach, it's important to kind of find a niche, like who are the people that you want to talk to every day? Who are you going to be able to help based on your life experience and your passions, right?
Mhm.
So empty nesters are really, a lot of them gravitate towards me, but I also help people that have teenagers who are moody and sad and upset, and helping them to navigate, life with people around you that are grumpy, and you're trying to keep your, happiness and joy and love and um, agape love. Let's talk about that real quick, because I think
Mhm.
this is the foundation of my business. We're better together, and we're only good together if we're loving each other. I hadn't even heard the term agape love until like 3 years ago, I think it was. Yeah, I hadn't even,
Oh, wow.
my dad kind of talked about it over the years, but I didn't know it had a word like agape love. And so I've been really researching it and understanding it. And it's a love where you do it even if you're not going to get it back, and you're so giving. And it's a mindset too, loving your people, loving your kids, loving your spouse, loving everyone around you. Like, if you can truly be grateful for the presence of another human being and just pour into them, beautiful things happen. And so we do need to connect. Humans are meant to connect with each other. We're not meant to be isolated and alone.
So, Barbara, maybe you have some ideas about, particularly as women, it's very easy to just give and give and give and give until we're depleted. And so when we hear about talking about living with that kind of love, it can feel like that's just more that I have to give, and I don't have any more to give.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about that? How do we deal with that to be able to be replenished so that we can be that source of love for other people? What ideas about that?
Honestly, Coaching can help. And this is where like a coach will meet you right where you're at and bring you forward. And sometimes it's just one breakthrough session where you're like, ooh, I could see some darkness and some, like we get a lot of labels thrown at us. You're this, you're that, right? And sometimes it sticks, but words are powerful. And if the wrong labels are stuck to you, a coach, I love taking those labels off and showing my clients the truth. Who are you in reality? You are amazing. You're beautiful, wonderful, and so full of love. There's so much that can just flow through you and flow out of you, but it's not easy to get there alone. And this is back to why we're better together and why I name my business what it is. Like when all you have is your own voice in your head and the negative self-talk, and you're in that pity party, depression, isolation, it's the voices are not good. You need to be around people that go, hold on, that's not true. You're beautiful. Oh my goodness, I love your whatever, right? Like we need to be with each other. And when you have someone that positively pours into you, whether that be a friend, a coach, you like call a girlfriend. Some of my clients, I just say, listen, tell me who's in your circle. Who do you love talking to? Tell them that this week you need to talk to them every day at 2 or every day at 9, and just make the phone call and say, hey, tell me why I'm great again, right? Like that's love. Like we're going to tell you why you're so great. And everyone has someone that will pour into them. If not in the moment, I know, again, empty nester. I didn't. I was isolated and alone, and it was dark, and it was not a great time. I looked for a coach. I didn't find the coach. I didn't find the help that I needed, and I got stuck. I was there for a while, but eventually I got out of it. And now I know if that is you, if you are stuck, I know how to pull you out of it. So reach out, ask for help, go to therapy, find a friend, hire a coach, like just listen to podcasts, something like get out there and listen to positive voices.
I think really too, the key part of that is learning to really tap into the source of love. And we can do that. I mean, we are better together. It's definitely easier to do it together, but sometimes it's like we just need, pick up the phone and you call and they don't answer, or they're busy and can't talk right now or whatever. But we can always there's real power in the scriptures and
Mhm.
in prayer. And if we turn to that source of love, it's there's more than enough to go around and to
Exactly.
really fill us up so that we can reach out to others, and we can not only learn how to receive from others, but to give to others as well. And just
Yeah.
live in that love.
Yeah, and I mean, quick shout out to Brenda Byers, who's a faith-based coach who really has taught me to fill up every day with that power of God and put on you know, just spend the time in the morning reminding yourself of who you are because of who he says you are. And when you're filling up like that, it's easier to pour into others. And when you just you have a whole different mindset when you plug into the power of the Holy Spirit. You've got it within you, and there's so much you can do with that power.
Yeah, it reminds me of that. I think Lauren Daigle sang it so beautifully in her song where she says, I think this and I feel this, but you say this. And I believe what you say of me. And
Yes.
that's a real, I mean, because even if we're not feeling it, if we just go, okay, but I can turn to the scriptures and go, oh, this is what he said. He said, you're beloved. He said, you're my friend. He said, I am with you. I believe what he says more than I believe what I'm hearing here and maybe even feeling here at times.
I have just visuals all around my office. I'm a real visual person, but one is from a class I took and I used to teach called Rooted, phenomenal class, faith-based class around connecting to your purpose, to God, and to your church. And every single bullet point, and it's two sides, tell me who I am, what my true identity is in Christ. And so, yeah, I'll just read one. God is pleased with how he made me. And if I just think about that one piece of scripture, like it just puts me in a completely different frame of mind, and it opens up my heart to be able to love.
Mhm. Um, so what are some of the biggest struggles that you see people having in this area?
Ugh. Okay, well, we talked about the inward focused anger, and like I talk about it as a downward spiral of thinking. It starts with a disappointment. The disappointment is, My kids used to need me, and now I call and they don't even answer. And they've made these huge decisions in life and they didn't even talk to me about it, right? Like it's a hard transition to go from pouring everything you have into your kids to we don't even talk every day. Like it's a huge transition. There's a bit of a shock that comes in there. And we'll talk about the empty nester roadmap that I created to help kind of navigate different stages because there are stages and it does get better, I promise. If you're new in this empty nester situation or if you're dealing with heartache and change. So avoiding the downward spiral of thinking, mindset, we do a lot of mindset work in coaching. Um, Another thing that I work on a lot is fractured relationships.
Mhm.
When you're hurting, you're not the best version of yourself. It's very hard to love. I talk to women who are very freshly hurting. You know, I had one client say my daughter moved out and I don't know if I'll ever find joy and hope again. Like she was very, very in a dark, dark place. And luckily I was able to pull her out, but it took some work. Like she really was believing the best of her life was over. And when you don't have hope, like, oh, unfortunately it affects you and then you lash out to others and the fractured and broken relationships are so I like to grab you before you get to that point. Like if you're really hurting, talk to me. Like let's connect because don't if you like I say this, my boys, if I were to share every hurt, every thought, every heartache that I had when they didn't call me back or text me, like all the they're little tiny things and they're good things because my kids are thriving. They're doing amazing things in life. If I had told them every hurt that I experienced, I don't think we would have a strong relationship right now. I really don't. I think I would have broken the relationship. And unfortunately, I see it a lot in my practice. So, loving yourself, loving others, and healing broken and fractured relationships is a big part of it. But if we can avoid the fracture before it happens, it's easier to avoid it than to go back and heal it.
Oh, do you think there are any myths about this that you want to bust?
Yes, I mean, oh, you talk about light and dark, truth and lies. Like, here's the myth. Okay, my kids moved out. I have to be happy and full of pride. I did it. That's how I should feel. Forget should. The word should is awful. My dad used to say, quit shoulding on yourself. Like, don't get rid of the should. Your emotions are valid, whatever they are. Feel them, experience them, and talk to someone about them. Be careful who you talk to about them. Don't pour it into the kids. But oh, yeah, the myth is I can't feel sad. And then when you start feeling like, oh, my emotions are wrong, you start to feel guilty. And guilt is awful. Like there's no reason to feel that. Your feelings are valid. Like bereavement, if someone passes away, they understand. But socially, sometimes they'll put a timestamp on it and say, oh, it's been 6 months. Aren't you over it yet? No, like our feelings are our feelings and you have to acknowledge them. Um, One quick tip here, it's great to have memories, but living in the moment, God only gives us our daily bread. We have enough for today. And so living in the present and thinking about and moving towards who you want to be and what you want to be, how you want to be. And if agape love is at the center of that, life is good for you and everyone around you.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are 2 or 3 actionable steps that listeners can take to begin finding better balance, to find this if this is something they're struggling with?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of well, there aren't even a lot of resources out there. When I was an empty nester, I searched for it and I did not find it. And that's why I am committed to providing content on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. Like I try to get posts out every week to just say, hey, if you need me, I'm right here. I'm right here and I'd love to help you. But the actions are listen to positive messages, surround yourself with positive people, think about therapy, think about coaching. All of it can help you meet you where you're at and help you to move forward.
Nice. So do you have a personal mantra or scripture or guiding principle that you live by with this?
Oh, goodness, there's so many. The one that I have as my screensaver, and it refreshes me because I feel like we have to replenish and refresh every single day. Here's what it's Isaiah 43:19, and it says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." That's hope. Like a wasteland, there's nothing, and he's making streams. It's that gratitude. I talk a lot to my clients about the fact that disappointment, anxiety, depression cannot coexist with gratitude. Being in the moment, being grateful for today is going to move you and shift you from looking at the wasteland to look what's happened. It's coming. Like there are streams that are coming, and it just putting on that hat of gratitude gets rid of a lot of negative emotions.
That really ties in with the other admonition in the scriptures to, seek and you shall find. What we look for, we'll see. I think
Absolutely.
that's part of the real power of gratitude, is that we're looking for what is good, what's going right in my life, not just in general, but for me and in my life. And then what we look for, we'll find.
Yeah, what you focus on expands. And the word I've got 3 words of the year: flow, abundance, and joy. And the flow is being connected to my Heavenly Father. Abundance, that thought of there's more than enough of whatever I need: love, time, energy. The abundance is there. And joy, because if you're not feeling joy every day, what's the point, right?
Yeah, and we could go off on a, well, this is a topic for another time. What does joy really look like? Because sometimes when we think about joy, we think that means I have to face on a smile and be happy all the time. And it's not that. We can still have joy even in real times of hardship. We'll have to visit that another time.
Yeah, that's a big topic.
Yes. So, Barbara, you have a freebie that you're offering to everyone who is registered. And then you also have something for those who have purchased the VIP package. You want to tell us a little bit about both of those?
Yeah, so the first thing that I want to offer is the Empty Nesters Roadmap. And what is it? It's a 9-page PDF. It's a very simple, call it an ebook, that talks about the different stages of being an empty nester, from really embracing the shift, which deals with a lot of the emotions, to decluttering what doesn't serve you and discovering what does, and then really building and living in the dream of your purpose. Like, what do you want to do now in this new stage? Each step is important, and in the roadmap, there's some journal prompts and action-based things that you can do. So if you don't even talk to someone because you're in that spot where talking to someone's hard, and it's a fear, like, well, what if it doesn't work? I don't want to talk to anyone because if it doesn't work, it's going to just be even worse. Ugh. If you feel that way, at least grab the roadmap and read, because there might be a little tidbit that speaks to you, or a question that gets your mind thinking in a more productive, positive way.
Oh, the steps in this roadmap, are they ones that can apply to people who are not empty nesters as well? Would it be helpful to them? Or
Yeah,
empty nesters?
absolutely. Like embracing a shift. How many shifts happen over the course of our life? Life is always changing and shifting. Decluttering, we talk about that in several forums, like pick up the object, and if it doesn't serve you, get rid of it, right? Like decluttering is a topic everyone can benefit from. And then reigniting your purpose, same thing. It's more than just empty nesters that need that.
So even if you're not an empty nester, the roadmap will be helpful. And then you had something for the people who had purchased the VIP package.
Yeah, so for the VIP package, what I am offering is a special price on group coaching. A big part of being an empty nester is the desire for my tribe, my people that get me, people, right? Like when we feel like we're alone and nobody has had an experience like ours, it's easy to isolate and be depressed. But when we connect with people, it's a powerful thing. So the group coaching, we meet every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And if you want a community, if you want a group, I've got a very special discounted rate for the VIP folks.
And if you are finding yourself interested in these VIP offers and you haven't purchased that yet, you still can sign up for the VIP package all the way up until the end. So our final question, my favorite one is, Barbara, what do you think are your two, three of the things that are most integral to living a life that truly nourishes us, body and soul?
Well, um, I think it comes down to just one thing, and it's understanding who you are because of who he says you are. I am who I am because of the great I am. And when it sounds simple, but he tells us to seek him, seek wisdom. And that's something that gives you hope. As you seek wisdom, you seek him and you understand who you truly are. It is a wonderful place to live and a wonderful place to be to help others.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more wonderful interviews coming your way to help you to create a life that truly is nourishing body and soul.